Hello folks, my name is Paul Morris and I work at Tocardo. Who are Tocardo? A lot of people ask me that. It's kind of stayed under the radar for quite some time now, and that's been part intentional, part because we've decided to focus on other things and other parts of the world. This is just a brief business presentation on the company and a little bit about the element. Okay, we're Netherlands-based tidal and river turbine manufacturers. Some of our business is in fact in-stream rivers. For instance, we've got projects in Nepal and short coming up in Myanmar. We're fully commercial since 2011. Our technology is proven. We've had the current range of turbines in water for 6 years now, gathering data on a minute-by-minute basis and video on a minute-by-minute basis for that time. And we have a worldwide network. Surprises me. Our strategy has been to look for markets up to 500 kilowatts, to commercialise the smaller turbines. We've stayed away from the 1 megawatt, we're changing that very shortly. And we try to keep the turbines easier and cheaper to install. So it's a fairly low cost turbine, low cost operation when you compare it with the larger turbine. The focus has been on kilowatt hour price. With reliable technology, we tend to minimise maintenance. In fact, we've got maintenance down to the 10-year mark now, and that can be done from the outside of the machine when we just need an oil change. And we've aimed at reducing project costs. We've partnered with specialists, and we continue to partner with specialists in project development, financing, installation, and foundation engineering. Although we're kind of looking towards making our own foundations now with our parent company, Household, who I'll talk about in a minute. As I said, we've got a 6-year track record, and the turbines are designed for a 20-year life. Minimal maintenance, multiple foundation, that's floating, bottom, or retrofit. When I say retrofit, a lot of our business comes from mounting turbines and barrages, which we do a lot in Holland. And the last 3 went in last week, for instance. So we do that on a continuous basis. The specs of the turbines: a direct drive permanent magnet generator, smart reverse rotor blade, and no pitch. Advanced control systems for tidal and river sites. We rely very heavily on the electronics and the improvements of the electronics for our machines. For instance, we know that within the next 3 years we can improve the output of our turbines by between 40 and 70% by playing with electronics. That's in the same size machines. Our product portfolio is the HT Plus, the HTS. HTS really means that we can go into free spin and not damage the machines where we need to. Developments, T1 and T2 in production now. We had to change the names. We used to call it T100 and T200 because that reflected the amount of kilowatt output. But now we find that we're actually able to tweak the output so that the 100s are producing about 143 kilowatts and that the 200 machine is producing about 250. So we changed the names. T3, that's available later on this year. That will be around about the 800 kilowatt plus, and the T4 will be the 1.5 megawatt plus machine coming out next year. So our ideal operating range, as you see it there, I've already mentioned bits of it: no gearbox, direct drive, low maintenance, life expectancy, easy to install, and internet monitoring. We don't monitor our machines via our iPhones. Where are we? Where's our market? Okay, if I can start in the top left, in Canada. Canada's got a great feed-in tariff, I'm sure many of you are aware. We're active on the east coast of Canada. We have 4 projects on the east coast of Canada, and our first array will go in October this year. It'll be a small array in Digby Gut, which empties into Bay of Fundy, and that'll be 1.95 megawatts. We have to keep it below 2 megawatts. We also have projects on the west coast of Canada, but the price of hydroelectricity is so cheap there. They are on slow burn at the moment. But what we're finding on the west coast is that a lot of offshore communities are wanting to deploy systems that will replace their diesel generators. And we're finding a lot of interest from Vancouver Island and much further north, Massive Sound, places like that. And then Mars Deep, we are working with Blue Tech. We have a T2, or T200 as it says there, on a buoyancy-based foundation, and that'll go on for some time. In Den Oever, which is where our main office is, in Holland, we've got a 5-year track record. We've got turbines in the barrage there. That's a 33 32-kilometre long barrage that stretches across the top of the Afsluit dike. And we're expanding it bit by bit right over to the other side over the years to a place called South. Nepal, right now, in fact, we're installing 4 turbines. We actually designed the foundations for those, and they're being built in Nepal under supervision right now. And they're going in rivers in Nepal. Interesting about Nepal is that we're also doing it in Myanmar very shortly, and a few other places in Asia. Canada, I just mentioned at the bottom left there, I mentioned British Columbia, large potential, a huge potential. The interesting thing about British Columbia is that, I think it was the December before last, the water in all the reservoirs and the lakes that supply the hydroelectric schemes went down to about 9 months' supply. And this set the bells ringing, I think. Well, I know it did. And we're talking to the BC government through our partners in Canada now about trying to build some an anti-blackout, if you will, or some kind of emergency supply based on tidal. UK's got large potential. Several projects are being negotiated now. There's 4 or 5 projects being negotiated now, and of course the Isle of Man one, which we've got. Oosterschelde, that's again in Holland, a huge barrage, and that starts in a few weeks' time. We start installing there. South Korea, we have 4, well, we have 4, we've got 3 now. Unfortunately, one of those projects was at Jindo, where that ferry sank, and we probably won't be allowed back in that site for quite a few years, I imagine. Semanjiam, which is that large 34-kilometre barrage behind which they're building a city which is probably twice as big as Dubai, in the sluice gates there, and at Namhai and Busan as well. They are small projects. Japan, we've sold 6 turbines, and there's another demonstration project in turbine, and we have a relationship with a large Japanese engineering company. Isle of Man shapefile. So if you can imagine this is the bottom of the Isle of Man, which it is, that little green square represents the shapefile of the location we've got. It's not much, but it's enough to put in about 30 megawatts of tidal energy in. The installed power will initially be 10 megawatts. It'll be 30 megawatts when the full seabed study has been completed. And we need this to happen as soon as possible. There are some, it's not just a question of flow speeds, it's a question of the direction of the tides, and we think there's some asymmetrical tides down there, which is going to alter quite severely the IOR, but we'll check on that when we see that soon. We've also been supply turbines for other sites in the Isle of Man waters. Our targeted time frame will be 2018 for installation of the first phase. At the moment, if somebody orders a turbine from us, they get it in 6 or 8 months. That's the easy bit. The most complicated bit, of course, is doing the environmental impact assessments, which normally in the UK take about a year or 15 months if we're lucky, ongoing much longer. Site characteristics, it's a Vmax of 3 meters a second. That is based on desktop studies and some work that Ecoisland did. We really need to stick AECPs on the seabed and do some serious filtering. GIS. Depth, max 23 meters. The wave regime is moderate. It's not fully exposed, although it is to a certain extent. It's not fully exposed to the Atlantic Ocean swell. Project developer is us. We were invited to tender and apply for locations in Isle of Man waters in 2014, which successfully became the first supplier for the Langness site, which you've just seen. What are the benefits of the Isle of Man? Working with the Isle of Man. Small, well-organised regime to deal with. Good pool of expertise, available skill sets for assembly and construction of a tidal array. Most of our assembly and construction will be done in the Isle of Man using Isle of Man resources and Isle of Man people. We'll be able to draw down the UK CFDs in the near future. We've heard a couple of times speakers say around about 2018 we'll get CFDs. Status on permits and seabeds. Initial environmental assessments will be completed by Ecoisland, and these were commissioned by the Isle of Man government. These are very basic. Not something you want to go to any investor with, you need a lot more for that. Connections to the grid is nearby at Langness Point, which is also important. I mean, there are 2 factors that you think about before whenever you try an tidal project. Where's the closest grid connection? And secondly, who owns the seabed and can I have access? So we're just about there now with that, and we are going to carry on very shortly developing the project. We reckon that this is going to be about £63 million for the initial 10 megawatts. That is an outside figure. And as I speak now, we are in fact reducing the prices of our turbines based on the fact that we are manufacturing lots more of them now and passing those savings on to clients. That figure there is based on current knowledge of the environment and experience of actual costings in previous projects that we've carried out. So it's not just a wet finger in the air. That's it as far as Tocardo International is concerned. And I'll take any questions later. Thank you very much.